So the fallout of the parental alienation that my ex-wife and kids deny ever happened, except for when it was happening, and they told their therapist, and they told me, and they said their mom wants them to pick sides. Their mom says horrible things about me directly after the divorce. And prior to the divorce, their mother telling me that she will turn the kids against me. Well, here we are 6 years later. My kids hate me. Told me to die a horrible, lonely death. One of them just did. So their reasoning, apparently, I mean, I'm sure there's more than just this, but it keeps coming up. This has continuously come up since my ex-wife started a relationship with a woman who claimed she was transgender and who had like 3 or 4 transgender kids when we were in Hawaii. This is kind of, mid-divorce that this happened, and this woman told me at my son's birthday party when I think he was 9 or 10 that she was attracted to my wife, and then she told me she's a lesbian, and then I don't know, she's trans or something. Anyway, this whole thing really started, this whole transgender thing really started during COVID.
I'm not into all the other bullshit. I think
What other bullshit?
the they and them.
Yeah.
And all that extra shit that we added during the pandemic because everyone was so bored on their fucking houses. They just started to make up more shit and more shit.
More stuff.
Yeah. That's where the conservatives like me because I'm just real.
Yeah, you do have a conservative
you're not
vibe
they
to
and
you.
them. You're trans, you're male, or you're female.
And you're
And
standing on
people
that.
get so mad when I say that. How are you a they? What the fuck does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
But you need someone like me that looks like me to say it. Because if you say it, it turns into you're homophobic. You hate trans people. You hate gays. And it's just how you feel. You don't hate anyone. You just think it's stupid.
Back in 2020. And they keep bringing this up that I'm anti-trans, I'm anti-LGBT, and that I'm pro-MAGA, that I'm pro-Trump. So here's the reality of it. I'm neither anti-LGBT or transphobic, but I'm not pro-LGBT, and I'm definitely not pro-trans. I'm not pro-Trump. I have never been pro-Trump. I have liked the things he supported to a limit. But those things that he supported, I supported before he did. Like, the biggest reason I was excited for him to be president this time was because he was anti-war. He wanted to pull us out of all the wars. And the first term, there was, none of that. There was none of this Iran, Venezuela, whatever. Now we're in all these wars, and I'm not happy with that at all. If you just profile what Ron Paul supports, and you compare it to Trump, those things that Ron Paul supported, I still support, and Trump had supported many of those things as well, but seems to have backed off of that. Ending the IRS, ending the Federal Reserve, pulling out of the wars, being non-interventionist, all that, stuff that Ron Paul supported, the not isolationism, but the lack of interventionism. And I liked all of that, and now Trump's not doing that. So, back in 2016, I got a whole blog on this, all the videos I posted publicly, going back to 2016, 2017, all the way up, 2020, and even 2023, I posted many things opposing Trump, and calling out some suspicious behavior. And I told everybody this whole boom and bust cycle where, Trump could just be playing his role, and the bankers are probably controlling him. And I talked about Trump's bankruptcies in the 90s and when the banks took control of his assets, and they're pulling the strings in his financial empire. So he might have his face on it, but behind the scenes, the banks are controlling it. It was obvious as day on 60 Minutes with Barbara Walters. It was all confessed to by Trump and, exposed by 60 Minutes that, yes, he took a bankruptcy. Yes, he gave up a lot of control. Now the banks control his assets. So do I like Trump opposing the woke ideology of the left? Yes. I don't believe that children should be transitioned. I don't believe men should be in women's sports. I don't believe that statues of our history should be removed because they, represent a Confederate soldier. I don't believe books should be taken out of the library that are meant for adults. I don't believe in a lot of the wokeism. I don't believe in Antifa. I do believe they're terrorists. I do believe they're absolutely domestic terrorists. Trans-Tifa, same thing. They're very violent and far left with some really radical ideologies. Told my daughter today that, the LGB are good in my book. I've always said so. I put out a blog today, again, documenting all the way back to 2008, me standing up publicly on YouTube and otherwise, even opposing my Mormon family and standing up for gay marriage and supporting LGB rights. So the LGB are cool in my book. The T's are like the ultra MAGA, extremists, but on the opposite side. And so I'm not all about that. So, I think that I was almost too lenient and too supportive of LGB stuff when I was supporting, gay marriage and stuff like that. Like, I believe in my libertarian principles. I don't believe the government should be regulating marriage. They shouldn't be, telling us what to do in our private lives. If we want to date somebody, marry somebody, whatever, that's our own business. And that was my message. It wasn't like, yay, let's all be gay. It wasn't that at all. It was that, these people deserve the rights and dignity that I have. They shouldn't have any less. And that was all I stood for. But I think that I was too soft on the idea, and I should have vocalized more of my thoughts. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I did my job on that. But my thoughts on why there's antisocial negatives in the LGB community, from disease that's spread more widely by gay men, far more, HIV, the predominant infection rates are with only 2% of our population in the U.S. 2% of our population are gay, are gay males. 58% of AIDS and HIV infection are with that 2%. So it's something like 5,000% more likely that you're going to get AIDS if you're gay than if you're straight and not a drug user. A lot of AIDS spread to straight people through intravenous drug use and through bisexuality. So, without that, there's a lot less even straight people that have gay disease or gay specific diseases like HIV. HIV is a gay disease. AIDS is a gay disease. That's an antisocial part of homosexuality. There's a lot of other negatives to it. There's, this whole I want gay rights, which are separate from other people's rights. And I want hate crimes, and I want this, and I want that. Like, the rights they're fighting for, not all of them I support. I support them having the same rights I have. But let's say, a straight person and a gay person get in a fight at a bar. Say they're drunk, they say some things, the fight breaks out, the gay person gets beat up, the straight person is accused of a hate crime. He goes to jail for twice as long for a fight that if it was a straight person with a straight person fighting, there would be no hate crime, there wouldn't be double the penalty. So I don't believe in that. I don't believe in all these special protections, all these special rights and privileges. I just agree with equal rights for men, women, gays, blacks, whatever. I believe in equal rights. Ron Paul believes in that as well. I believe Donald Trump believes in that as well. But I don't always agree with everything somebody represents just because I agree with some of the things they represent. I didn't vote for Obama either. I didn't vote for Trump. I haven't voted for a Republican. I voted for Ralph Nader for 12 years. I supported him for 12 years. He was Green Party, definitely not ultra-conservative or Republican. His National Initiative for Democracy is the reason I supported him. So I supported, progressives and liberals in my life, and I voted for them. I voted for Ralph Nader, but I haven't voted for a Republican. But I supported Obama when he got elected. I congratulated him. I asked him to keep his promises. He promised to completely decriminalize cannabis. I waited for that. It never happened. And under Obama, 6,019 people were arrested on federal marijuana charges who were marijuana patients in their state, as opposed to the one that was arrested under George Bush previous to the Obama administration. So he disappointed me greatly, but I kind of expected it. If it's a Democrat, if it's a Republican, I kind of expect the letdown. So I didn't vote for a Republican. I didn't vote for a Democrat. I've never voted for any of the major parties, ever. Have I supported some of the things they say they represent? Yes, I have, and I do. But all you have to do is look at Ron Paul's stand on the issues. I support those things. That's what I support. You take any issue Ron Paul supported in politics, I'm on that side of things. And Trump was more on that side of things by far than Kamala was, or than Biden was, or than Obama was. So did I support Trump more than I supported Kamala? Absolutely. I mean, Kamala didn't even win a primary. She was just infused. She was propped up and put in place. She wasn't elected. She wasn't voted for. They just put her in. They installed her. So no, I didn't support what she believed in. I don't support critical theory, critical race theory, critical gender theory. I don't support any of that stuff. She seems to have supported that. I don't support that at all. I'm absolutely against all that. It makes victims out of people who aren't victims. My solution to most of this is Verifact and Veracity Integrity, my site, veracityintegrity.com. That's my company in Utah, in the state of Utah. It's in West Jordan is where I've founded that. I've got an office in West Jordan, and I've made sincerity and lie detection algorithms to go in smart glasses so that you can just look through a HUD and, through your view of your glasses, if you tap the little on button, it will analyze people's sincerity while you're speaking with them. It'll analyze their motions, their eye movement, all of their little characteristics. First it establishes a base, and then it will continue to analyze sincerity and lies in variations of base. And so it's already programmed. The software works. I've got 9 algorithms, well, actually 8 algorithms in use right now with this device module that will be an augmented reality, basically AI infused wearables like sunglasses, like the Meta View. I have Meta View, and I've also ordered some other options to use that are open source options to test this in. So the software's done, the hardware is not done, but it's getting close. And my Verifact. So as I was saying, I have my Verifact software. But it goes on, I can't see. So I have my Verifact software that does work. It's currently implemented at disruptarian.com on all my blog posts. And I've got a trial with a couple of people that are putting it on their blogs, and it's working well. It uses a AI algorithm, and it searches news sources, it searches Wikipedia, and it searches the Internet Archive, and it finds the credible parts, the verifiable parts of these sources, and it puts in a reference source for every fact used in my blog. So I've got Verifact already in place. It's working. It's something I created from scratch. My Veracity Integrity VI smart glasses are ready. Software-wise, the programming's done. Now I just need to get the hardware development in place and combine the two, but it's ready to roll out. But the way I believe this is going to solve a lot of our problems is fake memories, lies, deception, insincerity cost people so much. Cost them their integrity, cost them their time, cost them their money, cost them their country. And I think that sorting out sincerity from insincerity, lies from truth, I think that's a very important part of our future. And whether I get this released or somebody else does it before me, in this augmented reality source where consumers can buy a pair of glasses, put on their glasses, and in their HUD they see what's going on around them. This person's not being sincere, this person is, blah, blah, blah. I think that'll help us a lot in all of these situations, and the ones that I spoke about in my video today, and in depths and depths of levels of humanity. It's going to help us. So thanks for tuning in. This is Ryan from disruptarian.com. So I know my kids, are in this situation, and they believe their mother. Of course, she didn't do anything wrong. Although when I first got back from Ireland after my divorce, first time I see my kids, they all tell me, Mom wants us to pick sides. Mom's saying horrible things about you. And they didn't believe it, obviously, or they wouldn't have been so concerned about what she was saying or her asking to choose sides. This hadn't been a part of things before. So That's what they said while I was in the car. My dash camera's recording. It's what they said to their therapist about a month later. And for about 6 years, I just saw it degrade slowly and slowly over time as she, works her magic to make them hate me. I wondered, how common is this? Am I the only one? Of course I'm not, because I saw my mother do this to my father the same way, alienate him from his kids. Her own mother talks about it with me on the phone when my dad was dying, and my mom wouldn't let the kids see their father. 5 of my dad's children were alienated from even being able to say goodbye to him. But something like 22 million fathers are alienated from their children in the US alone. Some 28 million parents are estranged from their children. So this happens. It's not uncommon. So this is my story anyway, and then I'll play this with my grandma as my father was passing away from cancer. This is all too familiar. They say that when she can't control you, she'll use her kids to control you. If she can't use your kids to control you, she'll use your kids to hurt you. It's about narcissistic ex-wives. That's what happens. It's not uncommon. There was a big blowout, big fight, because these kids went to go see him in the hospital. He was grateful. He was happy. They gave him a blanket. They were just there to see their dad because they thought he might die. My mom threw a fit, blocked them from talking to him. My mom took his cell phone. Those poor kids, those 5 kids, aren't going to see their dad before he dies. That's what's the biggest crime.
No, that's sad that she can't talk to them.
Yep.
And she doesn't even tell me that your dad does not want to see them. Deep down, I bet it, darling, he'd like to see all of them.
Oh, I'm sure of it. But if he saw any of them, you know that she'd kick his ass out. He'd be in Delta suffering from cancer by himself.
Well, somebody will take care of him. He won't be on his own.
Yeah, we'd take care of him. We'd go down there instantly and bring him up here, but I don't know if he'd make it. God, that's a big drive while he's sick.
Yeah, he's sick, but just to say he's dying anyway, what are you going to do, His time on Earth isn't that long, and I don't know why she treats him that way.
It really makes me upset that I have to, put up with this. And another thing, my kids have it all wrong about why I moved out. I was 12 years old when I left my parents' place. I went to live with my grandmother, then after that my cousins, and then after that I was on the streets. I lived homeless. I'd rather live homeless than live with my family. I wasn't kicked out. I was always welcome home. They actually tried to have the police come and extract me from places where I was at to bring me home, but I just didn't want to be there. My mom, I'll tell you one story of the many, but one time, and this is what really upset me about my father, is how weak he was when it came to my mother. He left his previous wife, and I've heard the stories. I know a lot about that, but I saw firsthand with my mother, and I can testify to this as fact, at least firsthand knowledge, is that, one time when I was 12, the same year I left home, my dad comes home after working long hours at Geneva Steel, where he worked 16 hours a day. And, this is verifiable. My uncles worked at the factory. My grandfather worked at the factory. I mean, they all worked together. Lots of my dad's friends worked there. And so they all knew how long of hours my father worked. And he came home from work one night. I guess he stopped by the bar, got a drink, came home. My mom smelled alcohol in his breath and assumed that he'd been cheating on her. She grabbed a chair and she's beating him over the head with the chair. My dad pushes her off him. She doesn't get hurt. He's bleeding. She calls the cops, says that he hurt her. He attacked her. He's drunk. He's a menace. He's scary. They came. They arrested him. They didn't do anything to her. And for weeks and weeks after, months and months after, she told everybody he's abusive. He's an alcoholic. He's terrible. Now, a few times me and my dad got in fistfights, and a lot of that was me. I mean, I was just an asshole kid. I was raised by two parents who were beating each other over the head with chairs and stuff. I mean, I was a little unruly. I'll admit to that. That's on me. Me and my dad got in a few fistfights, and I knocked him out one time. And, it was kind of an accident, coincidence that it actually happened. He was a pretty tough guy. But it wasn't because he was abusive necessarily. She was abusive. She was mentally and emotionally abusive and physically violent. And I was terrified of what she did to him. I saw it happening in real time, and that he allowed it to happen and he didn't leave her. I always wish he'd leave her and I'd go live with him. That was my wish, but it never happened. So I left and went and lived with my grandma. But this is my grandma talking about it right here. That was the video I just played, I guess. One of my grandma talking about how even my mother wouldn't allow my father to say goodbye to his kids before he died of cancer. So parental alienation is real. My kids don't believe me, but it's true.